Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. Today we are having a fantastic insure talk and with one of the leaders of the insurance sector. I am talking to Mr. Amit Malik, who is the CEO and MD of Aviva India. And Amit is going to share with us a lot of interesting perspectives about the industry, about the futuristic technologies, about what he is doing at Aviva, and what the industry can see in the next few years to come. Amit, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you so much, Amit. Amit, you have been riding this industry wave of 280 billion industry, and today the world is also seeing a lot of potential of for growth in this industry. Global investments are also trickling in left, right, and center with the policies of the government. How do you see, or what in your vision is the prospect for this sector now?
I think my own vision from a sector standpoint, three things that I would like to say is first, for the sector to be successful going forward, it has to be more agile and innovative. And when I say this, I mean is the sector needs to respond very dynamically to the changing consumer needs and make it more personal for the consumer. The personalization element has to come. We need to have products, which cater to the growing and the new needs of the customer rather than only plain vanilla life, general and health insurance. So, someone may need an employment guarantee protection insurance going forward. That is something that is futuristic that, we should look at. I think when I talk about being innovative and being agile, I also want to just briefly mention that as a sector, we need to then look at our underwriting policies and be able to manage risks more smartly. So that's the first. Second is technology-led. I think if you look at insurance as a sector, COVID has got a lot of companies to expedite their journey of digital and tech. But we use a lot of technology, but we are not a technologically led sector. We have to become a technology-led sector rather than a sector that uses technology, so that the entire customer journey from discovery, consideration, purchase, and servicing has to be rethought in a digital. So that's my second piece. The third piece is evolution of the marketplace. We see marketplace in e-commerce. I think in insurance, the marketplace is there. It has come a long way. But as I look at the future, it will evolve. And when I say it will evolve, it will be a combination of digital and offline. So digital and brick and mortar, online, offline, that will be the combination. And that's where the world is trending. So those are the three things that I see from this sector standpoint.
So what kind of scope of product innovation? You obviously spoke about employment guarantee insurance. What other kind of product innovations do you see coming in the near future? Or what are those products that are there interesting in the global market, which you see should come to India?
Actually, this question is very close to my heart, Babu, because I personally am very passionate about increasing the financial literacy of a common Indian. I feel we as Indians need to become a lot more financially aware. It's not about insurance. It's about financial products, the financial portfolio. How do we manage our risks individually from a financial term? I think that is very, very important. And that's very passion. That's a passion for me. When I look at the customer, like you said, I think we need to find new ways to reach the customer. Use smart nudges to make people think about insurance. COVID has helped a lot, and also the need for insurance. But along with the nudge, we also need to help them arrive at the right decision of the product, so that not only from an insurance product standpoint, but also their life financial goals. I think the other way to look at it is when you look at the whole India and you look at the spectrum, there is this whole base of the economic pyramid, which is where we as insurance company need to focus on. We need to have business model and products that provide or administer and help that strata of consumers mitigate their risk. I think that is very, very important. If you look at the insurance regulator, they have come up with products which are referred to term and annuity, which are standard, which are easy to sell, and they are asking all organizations to bundle that product and sell, which is very, very good because that caters the need. I think there's a lot of regulatory support in going towards that. So other than that, we need to look at our own underwriting policies, like I said, our own risk management policies.
So how are you seeing InsureTech as a player in the market? Is it too much of complementing or competition or co-option that you see in the market with the InsureTechs?
InsureTech for me, if you ask me, I see them as collaborators. I think there is enough space for traditional companies and InsureTechs in this sector, and I'll explain why. I think InsureTech and industry collaboration will facilitate innovation, will enhance the customer experience, and contribute to the overall growth of the sector. And why I say this is because, some of the traditional players bring in strengths like customer loyalty, brand equity, customer data, which is very important for our sector. And InsureTechs bring in the ability to impact each leg of insurance journey, whether it is lead generation and fulfillment, whether it is policy issuing and smart underwriting, whether it is management of managing the customer, whether it is customer buying propensity. All of these needs can be filled by the InsureTech. Today, all the InsureTechs who are selling insurance are actually helping the traditional organizations by tapping into untapped market and expanding distribution, which is good from a penetration standpoint, which is good from a industry standpoint. So I think both, if you look at the future, both the traditional players will retain ownership of the end-to-end customer, while InsureTech will, as digital enablers, will drive the adoption of digital technology, value chain, and help advance the digital transformation, like I said initially. So it's a pure play collaboration where all will win.
So in this insurance ecosystem, what is the next level of data collaboration? So Sahmati is something which RBI had formed for the banks to share their data. There are organizations globally like F-Data, which is sharing the data for the financial services institutions. So from your perspective, what is the kind of collaboration in data sharing that is required for the organizations in the insurance sector?
I think it's a great question. I think it's the need of the hour, if I say. There is a need to have a central repository, right? And in a country like ours, between insurance company, it's going to be very, very helpful if we know about the claim experience, the fraud experience, someone who's bought a second policy, third policy. Why do a fresh KYC? So I think it'll help the insurance companies. It'll help the consumer. It'll facilitate doing it at a faster pace. I don't know whether whether you're aware or whether the viewers are aware that the India data center sector is thriving. Right.
Absolutely.
As of today, the country already has 75 to 80 co-location data centers. And this sector will grow anywhere between 10 to 13 to 14% over next 5 to 6 years. So this is where the data. So we have all the technology and the ability in the country to be able to leverage the data that we talk about. With the new technologies like geospatial, location intelligence, all of that coming in will help insurance companies, work much better from both the customer standpoint and the risk standpoint, which will improve in, like I always say, improved customer service, far and faster and accurate decision making when it comes to the to the policy issuance, more responsiveness on the claims process, supporting the claims process. You can do it much faster. You don't have to wait for individual investigations to happen. I think that's very, very important. So I think that's one ecosystem of data sharing that we talked about. The second ecosystem that I always believe, which I always think the insurance industry is known as, is the ecosystem of truth. I think that ecosystem will always remain, and when I say ecosystem of truth, that will continue to be. And, I break it into two parts as I see it. First is being truthful at the time of purchase. Have you sold me the right policy? Will it fulfill my need? Will it fulfill my family's need? Will it get me what I want to be? And the second truth ecosystem comes into being is at the moment of truth. When you deliver what you have promised to the individual, either in this life or after the individual, to the family that you promised. I think that is one point that I feel is the essence of all ecosystems that we build, whether digital, data, technology. That truth, and that is what keeps the sector, the way it is, and the whole loyalty factor comes in. So I think that's very, very important for me to look at. But going back to the data question, I think insurance companies will at some point need to look at something like a CIBIL score in the future to determine who should be issued a policy, what the premium should be. how much of lapsation of policies you have done in the past, what is your propensity to continue till the full term, what is your propensity to lapse a policy, are you a serious individual from a protection standpoint, or the need of insurance standpoint, or are you going to come in and just take it from a tax saving standpoint. So I think all of that data differentiation will give us an edge, and will get us to do more for the right customer.
So, what is your perspective on blockchain and the kind of ecosystems that are supposed to be created there?
Blockchain, I think, is a technology whose time has come. I think, a lot of people have been talking about AI, ML, and all of those technologies, but I personally feel blockchain's time has come. See, blockchain has this unique thing about saying, the sanctity of the record and the trueness of the record is very, very important. It is very difficult to alter or change a record in isolation on a blockchain. And I think that gives the technology a lot of advantage. Entries can be made into the record. Updating is controlled. It allots an exclusive identification to the user. You can use that to manage the process of issuance or insurance or do the checks while still not disclosing the whole information during a transaction process. So it maintains data privacy. It only gives you what you take. It is authorization based. Especially for an insurance company like us, both at the time of issuance and at the time of claim settlement, it's easier to validate the truthfulness of the claim. We can look at the historical data of the client through the blockchain, what all activities the client has done, whether fraudulent, not fraudulent. Those discrepancies can be caught up beforehand. You don't have to wait till the last minute. Also, if you look at blockchain, if we were to look at that futuristically, I think it will bring down the administrative cost for the insurance company, and that benefit can then be passed on to the policyholder, which is a win-win for the company and the policyholder. The whole contract of insurance can be done via the blockchain. The registration of the claim, the third-party data, all of that can be done via blockchain. So I'm very excited with the advent of the blockchain as a technology.
Now, let's come a little bit to Aviva and what you have been doing in all these years, how you have been growing, how last year has been for you, and what is your growth path now towards the future?
So, for us, I think it's been a journey where I think there are certain strengths that we've had. Last year was was a year of very proud moment for us. We were the most trusted brand for 3 years in running in the private sector. I think that's running an insurance company. That's a very good achievement to have, right? If you look at this year, we have shown growth over last year. So, that's been a good journey for us. We have used COVID to adapt and embrace digital in a very, very big way. We have looked at our processes from a customer standpoint and said where we could influence, whether it's our claim settlement process, whether it's our customer service bots. We have enhanced all of those customer service options for our customer. But, one thing that we learned in COVID over last year was that one is to have the technology for the customer. The other is to also educate the customer. How do you use the technology? See, the idea is not to tell somebody at the other end of the phone saying, dear customer, you can pay your renewal by a credit card, by an NEFT, by a wallet. But the idea is also then you educate that customer how to do that, and how to assure them of data, how to assure them of safety, how to assure them of security, how to encourage them to do that. So education of that whole customer piece to use technology has been a very big learning for us from that standpoint.
What new kind of regulatory reforms do you think can aid the industry further according to a wish list kind of stuff? I'm not talking about anything.
So, actually, I must tell you that the regulator is very, very open, and I think I've seen a lot of change in the regulator. The regulator is very receptive. We've had 2 meetings with the regulators as CEO in the year till now, and both the times they have asked for our wish list. Whether it is on reinsurance support, whether it is on COVID times, on claims, they have been very, very open. Like I told you, regulator has come up with 2 products on term and annuity, which I think is a very, very good step. The regulator is proactive. The regulator has a vision of expanding the penetration in India, and it's facilitating and working. So I think I think the regulator has been very proactive. As soon as COVID started, they also put the customer at the center of everything, and then they were very, very proactive. They were very very collaborative with the insurance companies. They understood our own challenges, they understood the customer challenges, and they tried to build a bridge where we could support the customers. I think it's been a change, and a very, very welcome one. So I think no two ways about the regulatory support and the proactiveness that they have shown. So
How have you been seeing this, transformation from just going one or two times to the customer to keep engaging and getting a better value out of the customer or increase the wallet share?
I think all of us learned, like you said, the customer only expects you to, or has a touch point or a need at the time of renewal when they take the policy, or at the time of renewal, or if they have a question, or if they have a service that they need. But I think the COVID, it's been an amalgamation of the needs from both sides. We very proactively went back to our customers and assured them when we were there. When the world stopped, the lockdown happened. We took it upon ourselves to educate our customers on how we were there, how we could service. The whole idea, Babu, was that not even a single customer who had to renew a policy should be left out, irrespective of the lockdown, irrespective of what we could not do. We endeavored to reach each and every customer to say how they could renew the policy so that they could be safe. That was the first. We also reached out to them, telling them that we are there for them without any expectation, just to say we are there for you. You could reach us through these, constant communication, constant touch, asking them to look at, the services that they can do from their home, what is important for them, educating them on why it's important to renew. We took that as an opportunity to educate customer on why it is important to renew your policy.
Fantastic. I think that was a great overall perspective. But I had a really very interesting conversation, and I learned quite a lot from you as well, from your experiences. So thank you very much for that. And we look forward to more and more such wonderful conversations with you.
Thank you for having me, and very kind of you to say that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.